She was talking to her cats, I bet.
No, Twitch is off. What just happened?
Oof.
Okay. So, are we good now? Alrighty then. Well, chaos is afoot. Casual, just just OBS things. Well, as I was saying, as I said, I'll repeat it again since this is sorry about that little mix up. Yeah. So, welcome to tonight's episode of Vampire the Masquerade. Carpe Noctem. This episode titled "Worms of the Web." To make things short, this is an adult game for adult sensibilities. So if you are of squeamish nature, or not a fan of body horror, or gaslighting, manipulations of all sorts, villainous people doing villainous things, or morally gray characters doing morally gray things, then if you're not a fan of all that, then that's okay to step away. I won't hold it. No one here will hold it against you. We appreciate you for checking us out. And if this is your type of darkness, and this type of if it's your type of chaos, then feel free to stick around. Without any further ado, we are. Oh, I almost forgot again. We are 7 followers away from reaching our 100 follower goal on Twitch, and right now we kind of want to push our YouTube. So there will be some YouTube exclusive stuff coming up soon. So check that out. And then also when we reach next milestone, there are talks for doing more stuff. And we'll have a hunter game also coming down the pipeline here soon. We've been talking about that for a while, I know, but it is coming. That'll be streamed on Wednesdays. We're still getting out some of the logistics, ironing out some of that. But yeah, with all of that out of the way, we are good to kick back into it. If you are watching this on YouTube, make sure to like, follow, and whatever, subscribe, whatever, all that annoying YouTuber shit. Share us, check us out, all that fun stuff. So yeah, Simon, let's try this again, shall we?
Simon Graham, Clan Gangrel. Last time we continued our venture into these depths, and we start running into these giant undead things, which we cut down easily enough, but then Tony had a panic attack like Rose earlier. After, shaking him back to reality, we ran into this Cthulhu-looking knockoff thing, and at this point I'm really sick of this underground place. But it graciously asked us to release all our weapons to enter this place where its master resides. And then I remembered Jessica's words of a flesh crafting thing that had Brigitte in tow, so perhaps there's some benefit in me coming down here. If not, well, at least I kept my word to Miss Rose. And that'll be all for me.
All right. Colton.
Colton Stinks. Clan Carpe. Last time, I was dropping off a few summons to the meat wagon above the hunters. And then I decided to help out the coterie underground. They had all the fun without me. Killed a few zombies and whatnot. And now we've made it past the gatekeeper. He's a bit like me, made of stolen parts, but doesn't share my charming personality. looking forward to seeing the mischief we cause.
All right, fantastic. Being that we are absent to Tony, Crimson, if you want to go.
Crimson Rose, Clan Toreador. After waking up from my hallucinated state, we continued on, all agreeing that that's the best. And like everyone has said, we ran into some zombies, killed them, no problem. Kept going forward, ran into these weird, fleshy creatures. Caught one actually, named him Tony Jr. He might be useful. Might get us some answers we need. Who knows? But yeah, we met this giant amalgamous flesh monster. Tried to reason with him. It seemed to work, albeit at the cost of all our weapons. To find sanctuary for the forgotten, the Undercity. And hopefully we'll get some more answers from meeting the mayor about the cult.
Perfect. All right, Hugh.
Human, Clan Tremere. Now, last episode, I got to witness both Tony have a freak out and Cthulhu rise from the depths. Tony managed to get a hold of himself. We all decided it'd be worth it to keep going. We've come this far. Cthulhu being the gatekeeper, I guess, before we entered any kind of place, said we had to throw away all our weapons. And as I didn't think it would be a good idea to toss C4 into the sewer water, I decided to keep that on me. Here we go in. Colton has joined us. We're all back as a tight-knit group. It's all nice being family together again. And once again, this horrible underground sewer place, in which we are now trapped for some reason. That's all I have.
Alrighty then. Last but most certainly not least, Anar.
Yes, so Anar Navi, Clan Malkavian, and much like the rest of the coterie has said, fights with some zombies, discovering these flesh-crafted creatures of different sizes and purposes, and then the entryway to this Undercity. And so Anar is very much looking forward to what information can be gained as we enter this strange place, and perhaps if he can figure out how they spread the field of madness that they've been walking through, as he's never encountered anything like that before.
All right. Well, with all of that out of the way, let's set our scene. You are being led down a hallway, one that stinks of refuse and has this kind of wet moisture that hangs heavy in the air. The slight distant scent of blood may be setting your teeth on edge. You can see paint chipping from the brick inlay and the cracked concrete on either side. Various examples of tasteful and very distasteful graffiti line the walls. The musty scent of what is forgotten. You see people, when you can assume to be mortals, on either side of you. It looks like they're struggling to hold on to what little sanity they have left. When any one of your gazes get close and focus on them, they shy away, doing anything to avoid eye contact. But there are some that seem to be wandering around as if this is just a normal Tuesday. It seems that people and creatures of the night have made this a home, various Nosferatu and actually very normal-looking kindred, it seems, roam around, ignoring the insanity that plagues the humans on either side of them, almost stepping over them as if they are refuse. The man that's leading you in old dungarees, a torn denim jacket, brown denim, maybe a farmhand jacket of some kind, an AK that has looks like the wood is warped. Doesn't look like it looks like it's barely holding on. Rust. The sound of clinking metal, his heavy boot steps leads you closer and closer to what seems to be a rather reinforced door. Heavy concrete on either side. You think that this may have been like a bomb shelter at one point. Throughout the Undercity, where these train lines were, all these projects for these underground train lines were abandoned. He turns and like I said, he's wearing a very frayed and barely holding on ski mask. As he looks behind at any of you, at the motley crew that spans before him, he says, "All right, just some rules. Don't piss anyone off. Speak honestly, and you have nothing to worry about. Boss will know. And if you are here to bring down some Camarilla order, you will be dealt with accordingly. Are we clear?"
Crystal. I'm sorry, we didn't quite catch your name. What was it?
I don't matter.
Well, thank you anyway.
He stands. Does anyone else say anything? Or actually, really quickly, what is everyone's expression? Like, what's everyone? What are your expressions? So starting with Crimson, since you were the last who spoke.
You can tell she's on edge, but her expression's very stern.
What about you?
Anar would be focused for sure, like listening to everything that this individual was saying, and there'd be eagerness to him.
Okay. What about Colton?
Colton has his hands in his pockets and he's kicking rocks right now.
And Hugh.
I'm gonna be alert and just like kind of looking around, but I'll still pay attention to what he said about not causing problems.
Simon.
I'm listening, but at the same time, I'm thinking if Colton really did give up those humans down here, eventually this place is gonna get discovered by the hunters. So I'm just kind of just saying,
What was that last part?
I'm just like, in my head, this is just a temporary thing. I'm just here to get, I'm here to, and just go. I don't really care too much else.
So with that, he was a big lever on the door, and he wrenches it close to him. And as the door opens, you see. I need everyone to make me a wits awareness.
Okay.
Nar. Oh, goddamn. Everyone's rolling pretty solid. I think that's everyone. Yeah, that is everyone. Oh, except for Hugh.
Yeah, sorry, my cat knocked over my water bottle.
No, you're good. That'd be wits awareness.
Yep.
God damn. All right, so Anar double critted. So that's 4 successes, 2 successes, 3 successes, 2. Okay, so everyone who rolled a 4, as you watch the overall description of the room looks like there's old artifacts from all different ages, time, all small things like bits and baubles, an old school record player, something that looks akin to what the first phone might look like, typewriters, lanterns of indiscernible ages, with some shields on the wall with some daggers next to them, some dueling daggers, and an old piano, a cello in the corner, and in the center of this in this room, there's a large table, what seems to be filled with old paper, with various designs and maps and what seems to be some sort of writing. You can't quite discern it from as you guys first walk in, but those of you who rolled a 4 or above, you can see as another door opens, a wooden door that seems like brought from straight out of the medieval days creaks open, and a figure walks out. Now, at first, to those who rolled a 4 or above, your attention doesn't go to the figure, but it goes to the room in which, and this is room to the right. You're able to see just a sliver into this room for a moment. There's red tinge across a blue kind of spanning lights that kind of give almost purplish hues, and you see blood spatter, and you see only for a moment what seems to be fleshy, kind of pulsing, almost like a cocoon. But it's only for a sliver of a moment, a fraction of a second. As the door closes, you see a man who looks like he's in his 40s, very gaunt, very frail looking, very knobby elbows, wearing what seems to be a brown, what seems to be once a button-up shirt, and a black vest, like I said, that seems scoured with age, bleach spots over it, with the simple black slacks. But his shoes, there's a certain sort of clear, viscous material that seems to seep from its soles. And as he as he turns to close the door, as he comes in, there's for a moment, he has really short hair, and he has one of those Irish hats. I forget what they're called. It's almost like a beret, but not quite. But as he closes it, you can see that seems to be what seems to be a hole in the back of his head. And as he doesn't seem to be hiding it at all, as he closes it, he looks over you and he smiles the way someone in their 40s. He's, like I said, a white guy. He looks to be almost Slavic, larger nose, kind of a focused and tired eyes. But he looks like a smile creases on his his kind of ash, or almost looks like a dusty face. He says, it's so good to see that I have visitors. Please have a seat. I do believe it is within conduct to announce oneself. And he invites you all to take a seat at the table, and he starts like slowly clearing off the table, collecting his papers and moving them to the side, to the on top of the piano.
Can I see if those papers? Can I check to see if that writing is in the same writing of the notebook that Nosferatu had in our club, or if the writing would look familiar at all?
Yeah. Roll me a which Nosferatu, really quickly.
The one that gave us the map to the sewers.
Oh, Mark?
Yes, Mark.
Okay, yeah. Roll me, I'll say wits. Let's see here. I'll take wits academics, I think. Let's see if any of that looks familiar. Is that did you just roll?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sorry, I missed. There we go. 3 successes. So it doesn't seem to be familiar. The penmanship seems like, if you had to guess, like it does, the word, like as you get closer, maybe to like look and to notice, it looks like the scriptures are almost in old Latin, like words that don't quite make sense. You're able to discern the letters, but like as far as their phrasing, it doesn't quite make sense. And he's like, oh, just journals from a different time. What the hell? I didn't do that. Just manuscripts from a different time. You'll have to excuse me. I live in nostalgia at times. It is a flaw of mine. So, are you going to have a seat, or are we going to do this standing? My legs are old, and I much prefer to seat. So, if you don't mind. And he takes a seat at the head of this old table.
I'd move to sit down at the table.
I'd also sit.
I'll sit.
Ideally, Colton would like to sit opposite. He's at the head, I'm at the other head.
Of course. And Simon and you said you'd sit. Simon?
I think I'll stand.
Okay. You see as he folds his hands together, and you can almost hear them creak. So, what can I do for you, some fellow kindred? I don't imagine that you're lost. You likely came here for a reason.
We got word that there may be cult activity happening down here.
Oh, of course there is. Where else would they do it? But in all transparency, this is a place where the lost go. Those who do not find a place above. A place where those who wish to follow maybe different lifestyles. This is where they come.
What is lost is not always forgotten, and is sometimes being seeked.
He listens to you patiently.
as the cult I've mentioned. We're very much seeking them.
Oh. Kind of purses his lips for a moment. Is that the state of things for all of you?
Well, I must say that I'm here to explore many things. This is a very interesting place that I didn't know about. Perhaps more formal introductions? I am Anar. Who are you?
You can just call me the mayor. My name is inconsequential in the annals of time. But
Yes, how rude of me.
what defines me is what I own here. That is what will be remembered. So that is the title I take with me.
Are we not all Osmandius?
I see you too are well read.
Oh,
You must be.
nostalgia's fun. Who doesn't appreciate the classics?
And you are?
I'm Human, Clan Tremere. And oh man, it is nice being back in a place like this.
Anar. And you, young lady?
I'm so sorry. Where are my manners? You can call me Crimson.
And red you are. And he looks at Simon. A small hint of disgust crossed his face. And you?
Simon.
And you?
Colton.
Well, it seems that the cult isn't necessarily all what brought you here. Is it a cult you wish to join? Usually people don't join cults knowing that they are what they are. Must be for a different reason, yes? Perhaps.
No.
Excuse me. He looks at Tony, and Tony also introduces himself. Excuse me. Oops.
I would finally sit. I guess to his right, but not too close, but like closer.
Okay.
Here looking for someone.
I'm just here because you don't. Oh, sorry.
That's very different than looking for a cult.
Related.
Is it now?
Quite.
Could be.
Go
Does
on.
Does the name Brigitte ring any bells?
You can roll me a wits insight.
Or perhaps Damien? Veronica? Marcus?
Oof. You want to burn any willpower?
Yes, I will.
Now remember, your willpower remains from last session. You only roll 3, so that roll doesn't count. You have to roll 3. Just 3
accidentally
dice.
push re-roll. Accidentally put roll again.
Oh.
That's my bad.
No, you're good.
Is 3 normal or 3 1 hunger?
Yeah. So no hunger. You roll your 3 normal dice. You can't re-roll hunger dice.
Okay.
2 successes. Okay. And did you want to roll that wits insight as well, Crimson?
Yes, please. Insight, you said?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I imagine that the two of you kind of ask this both at the same time. Simon, you ask about Brigitte first.
I can imagine we like look at each other a little bit
Yeah.
for flavor.
He looks at. The name doesn't ring any bells. You see his expression looks indifferent, puzzled perhaps. I don't know many by names. Most people make up names here. They don't want their true names to be spoken amongst these halls. But as far as Brigitte, I do not know exactly whom you speak of. If you
Would the
want,
physical details work?
it seems that this person is important to you.
Suppose I owe her. At least one.
He licks his really dry lips. Just slightly, almost like trying to wet them, maybe almost out of habit. I think, yes, a physical description would help. He pulls out like an old, his movements are really slow and meticulous as he draws some old parchment. Looks like it's well aged, and you see there's like lists of things written in Latin. I don't think anyone here speaks Latin. If anyone wants to roll me an intelligence academics,
I'll do it. What the
they're
hell?
welcome to.
No, dude.
I'd also like to do it.
Okay. All who are interested in
Oh, wait.
Oof.
Oh, was it just one dice?
No, I just hit the button.
Woo! That's a lot of
Good
successes. God
Yes.
damn! God damn!
Yes.
I believe Simon, you also said you wanted to roll.
I think I did.
The best you. Oh yeah, I do see it. Okay. All right. So, Simon. Well, we're gonna go through this in the order of greater to least successes. So, Hugh, with 5 successes, you're able to see that they are notes in Latin. It says it's like a list of features and notes as to disciplines and bloodlines. If you had to guess, you're not able to see it directly, but you are a pretty smart cookie looking at it. Crimson, what you're able to see isn't necessarily as you kind of glance through, you recognize some of the wording, but you'd see some of them saying like deceased, like on some of the notes for every single juncture, like every single line you'd see like notes, and some of them would say deceased or like mortem or mortis, or I don't speak Latin. And as you'd see that Simon, as he's slowly kind of moving through these things of parchment, you can feel your blood begin to boil. You feel annoyed that he is taking so long, that he's not respecting your time, that this man, this old creature, is stopping you from getting what you want. And you feel almost a feral growl that seems to permeate from the back of your head. You want to eat something. You want to lash out. You want to gnash your teeth. You want to rip something, anything.
Are you ready, Mayor?
Not quite. Yeah, go ahead.
He was around 5'2" in height, rather young looking, large eyes. I think they were green. Blonde hair with braids. She was a I'll look at Anar. I forgot the name of that. Damn it, my brain ain't working today. Alcavian. Often had a glazed expression, always speaking in riddles. Sorry, not much physical descriptions. But yes, some very dark makeup over her face all the time, smeared.
Simon, he just stares. He pulls out some glasses, and he's just taking his time. Minutes pass by as he's reading, moving from parchment to parchment. Again, you feel your patience being strained and strained and strained. And eventually he, almost 3 minutes later, he's like, yes. We have found her. She was in torpor when we discovered her.
Where is she now?
She has been claimed by this place. She has been claimed by the labyrinth.
What does that mean?
It means she is food for worms, child.
What worms?
And it's a figure of speech. You see, she serves a greater purpose now. One that she didn't have in her own life. It is a peaceful existence.
Well, I have the feeling that you say that, but she might sing a different tune.
Well, I will say that this is, even if you try some sort of rescue attempt, I would not blame you. But there would be consequences to such an action.
Is there anything else in this world?
As for your question, Crimson, of course, Damien and Marcus have taken refuge here. They are safe under my protection.
Your protection.
Indeed, anyone
Is there
who wishes to be free from the Camarilla or the petty squabbling of the anarchs, who wish to be left alone, who wish to be sovereign, are welcome here.
Is there a way to have a civil meeting with them?
Of course, you can speak to them here, but just know there is no violence that shall permeate these halls, or you will become one with this place, and you will never leave.
Understood. I don't think you would have to worry about me. Them, on the other hand, I'm not sure.
Now, you seem well equipped. I imagine you are agents of the Camarilla.
I would simply say no.
Some. We're more here on our own mission.
What I can tell you is this place is a safe haven. The Camarilla have no place here. If you do, Prince Jackson and I have an agreement. He leaves me alone, and I leave him alone. If this treaty is to be betrayed, very bad things will happen to Jackson.
Understood.
And his little paradise. We are to be left alone. We do not care for the squabbles of the above.
So they come down.
Are you speaking of Damien and Marcus?
No.
We are very well equipped to handle such an incursion, if that is to be what happens. I believe you met my Vozd guarding this place.
A most unique creature.
Oh, they were common in my time. Oh, the things that we built, works of beauty, I would say, but no more. Those for older times.
Are you the one
Yes,
responsible for all the crafted creatures?
I would, it is, they serve their purpose, I believe. Well,
May I ask what purpose he serves? And I'll get up and show him Tony Jr. on my hip.
Oh yes, this little thing, and he like, you see Tony Jr. kind of worms, kind of like happily, like kind of quivers, almost as if it's like being tickled, and he's like, yes, this is a charm, if you will, a thing of protection from the field. We call it the hedge, madness hedge. I think Robert was quite ingenious when he came up with the thing.
Robert.
And, well, if you, with a sacrifice, I could grant you free passage from the surface to here.
What type of sacrifice?
Are you willing to pay the cost?
Never-ending passage? Or just a one-time deal?
Depends. If you bring me someone to become one with this place, I could easily. I do believe you named it Tony Jr. and you see a very yellowed smile from like old, like maybe even before he was turned, he looked very like old.
It seemed to suit him.
Yes, and he looks at Tony, and he's like, "Yes, Tony Jr. How appropriate if I could attune Tony Jr. to you, to grant you passage from the surface to here, but you would need an offering." He folds his hands.
Would or wouldn't?
You would.
Okay.
And I mean, no disrespect, but this place needs to be anonymous. We need to be careful. We need to reinforce our works here. It cannot go to waste.
All this sounds interesting, but how can we be sure you're not lying about Marcus and Damien being here?
Well, if I were to lie, then I would say that they were not.
Would
And
you?
I would be very careful on who you accuse of being a liar, Miss Rose. This is my home, and I will not.
Don't.
I do apologize. Just, I've learned a thing or two about Kindred. They're very
Let me tell
untrustworthy.
you very clearly how I perceive here. This is my home. I have given you nothing but hospitality. If you scorn me, your visitation will not be looked too kindly upon. Am I very clear?
Understood.
This is your home, correct, Mr. Mayor?
Gives you a slow nod.
Then on regards to Brigitte, let's make a deal. Because your home will remain hidden much longer. I can misdirect that. I just
Many
need the
have
girl.
come to try to incur upon this place. All have been lost.
And two, they're not lost.
If you
Because I've learned something about Kindred myself. We all believe into a story of things lasting forever until they stop.
Oh, you misunderstand me. I do not assume anything lasts forever. I refer back to our friend Hugh, and he gives like a very worn smile. The tale of Ozymandias. Nothing lasts forever, Simon. I just must preserve what little legacy I have. My name is lost. My kingdom lost. So if I can find some sort of peace amongst the refuse, then it shall not be trifled with.
I do have a question.
He glances up at you, his gray eyes seeming very, almost enlightened that you're speaking.
It's a very wonderful piano. Where'd you get that? Is that a Steinway?
It was, shall we say, an old relic from, I believe it was, let me think. And he takes moments. It was a piece recovered from the Soviet Union. It was in Stalin's possession before it was mine.
Those czars, man, they had some of the best stuff, didn't they?
Indeed. Ironic, is it not?
Yeah. Catherine the Great was something, but everything after that, it kind of fell down the empire. Now, my wife used to play piano, so it's a very nice piece. Quite like it a lot.
Catherine, she was so charming. And again, he gives it like you see a chapped lips like that look like they have not seen water in decades. Just kind of smile as this old skinny old man smile. Whiffs of hair kind of slicked back, or not slicked back, but kind of parted off to the side.
Well, the point is, what my colleagues might have not come across with very well. My apologies for that. And I'm going to take a moment too and just do the old man thing where I just kind of stretch.
Mm-hmm.
Be like, well, we're not necessarily coming down here. Oh, we don't really want to. Frankly, I came here because I don't let a lady go alone. There are people that are causing problems upstairs that are hiding down here. and they're inviting problems into your home. We're not here to
Oh, please.
come wreck up the place, as it were.
Do tell me, Damien and Marcus have been nothing but kind guests. Wonderful guests. If you could tell me how they are a threat here to this place, I would be more than happy to hear you. Maybe even get all of them here for us to have a little discussion. I do not, if someone has befallen the rules, then of course or scoured the rules of hospitality, then of course we will have that discussion. But as it stands, I'm not sure how you would know if they are causing problems down here.
Oh no, I didn't say
it was them.
No, I wasn't gonna say it wasn't not them. It kind of is. They're not breaking your rules of hospitality at all. I'm sure they've been wonderful house guests down here, but the issue is, the prince has gotten sick of what they're doing upstairs, and he's sending people out to look for him.
And they've gone into hiding to continue their work.
Well, in that case, you may tell the prince that they have been found and they are accounted for. If that is all, and he creakily stands up.
Well, you see, if they're continuing their work down here as they were upstairs, it could get quite dangerous and quite messy for you, as many people, not including us, are still looking for them.
Oh, as I have said, child, this place is a safe place. They'll be okay.
Are there any amenities here? I'd like to talk to you in private, and I think it would be better if my coterie were able to amuse themselves.
Oh, there's plenty. Especially your journey must have been hard. And he kind of rubs his hands together. There's definitely places. Once a month, I'm not sure when the next one is, but once a month there's a church that is held. That is what the kids know as a nightclub, as it were. There's plenty of sorts here. It's a small community.
You got a cigar bar? Me and Tony probably like that.
Oh, hold on. And he gets up, and you can almost hear the bones creaking. And I need everyone to roll me a wits awareness as he gets up. God damn.
Oof.
Anyone want to burn any willpower?
No.
Okay. So Crimson, you were first, I think. 2, 4, 3. It's not hard to see. Those who rolled a 2 or above can see there's almost something shifting now that he stands up in the candlelight. You would see something shifting almost beneath his leathery skin. Like I said, he looks like he's in his 60s, but 60s that has been maybe a lifelong smoker or maybe hasn't been the healthiest, but you'd see something almost move beneath his skin. As he gets up and he pulls some cigars. These were the last cigars that were smuggled in before the embargo on the Cuban and American. I'm not too inclined for kind politics. And he sets it on the table and he blows off some dust. Considerate gifts of my hospitality for such a moving conversation. As far as what you ask for, Mr. Colton, I would be more than happy to have a conversation. You are free to move about the labyrinth as you please, with a few exceptions. Not encroach into anyone's private domain. Do not disrespect anyone. Do not feed where you're not supposed to. I'm sure you're familiar. In addition, this is less of a more of a warning than it is a rule. Do not go deeper into the labyrinth, for that is the subject of my study. If you see the mirror, you see black mirrors as you move deeper into this place, I would highly suggest you turn the other way. Feel free to take one, and he gestures to the cigar box to those who wish to indulge themselves. I so miss having guests,
We have
especially
two.
such young people. So quaint seeing young kindred still indulging themselves in jihad. It reminds me of when I was young. Oh, the things. The great things. And he kind of seems to zone out, kind of staring off into space.
The vigor of youth.
I had one more question for you, Mr. Mayor, if I may.
Yes, of course. Anar, you said, right?
Yes. You mentioned this hedge that you have, and it was made by someone named Robert. I must ask.
Yes. Robert the Lost. Oh, what a sorry, sorry soul.
Does Robert have a tattoo on his neck?
He has many tattoos on his arms, his neck. I don't understand the
Appeal.
yeah, yes, thank you, Simon. The appeal, but they are quite beautiful, as an expressionist term would go. Yes,
You know
Robert.
where I could find him?
Oh, Robert is lost, as his name suggests. He, I'm afraid I couldn't tell you exactly, but I know he himself studies the. So, for clarification, I know this place is the labyrinth, but that is because it is built around a deeper labyrinth, the labyrinth of shadows that lays at the bottom of this place. He studies oftentimes the dark places of the labyrinth. But when he's not maintaining the hedge, I'm sure or is he calling it the moat these days? It doesn't matter. The hedge, moat, whatever he calls it, he maintains it regularly, visiting the roots. I'm afraid the roots are off limits, but if you can find him around the common places here, I'm sure he'll be more than wanting to talk to you.
I would like that very much. And if you do see him, please tell him that Anar is around. Thank you.
I will make a note. And he dips his quill in some ink, and he slowly writes. He's almost drags his quill on this parchment, kind of making a little etching noises. And then you see he makes a mistake, and he says, "Oh, bother." And he pushes it aside slowly, and he again dips his quill, and he writes again, and this time he's able to get it right. This whole process taking about a minute as he slowly sets down his quill in the ink trough, and he looks back at you. Is there anything else I can help you with before Colton has his private conversation?
Nothing from me.
But I,
Thank you for your time.
Oh, thank you
I
for
would-
yours. Your company was more than welcome. If you brave the hedge again, even if you don't provide a sacrifice, I would be more than willing to speak to you as long as you remains amicable to the rules of hospitality. Oh, it's such a lost talent and skill. So many kindred these days are rapscallions that
They're
seem
all in a rush, aren't they? They're all just
entitled.
always.
Yes, they have time. They have the rest of their lives. I'm not sure what the hurry is.
or they
Anyway,
have no time at all.
When might this meeting between?
Yes, I will make another note. And he slowly picks up his quill and he starts writing again.
Mr. Mayor, one
Mhm.
more thing.
Of course, Simon. Do you
Is there at
say
least-
Simon? Forgive me a joke. Continue.
Is there any way I can at least speak to her?
No. She is mine now.
I see.
She, as I said, upon being found, didn't have your same respect. And he gives you a smile.
Hmm.
Now, is there anything else I can do for you, young kindred? Again, strange. It's almost like as he says that, there's a weird kind of breeze as the candles kind of flicker a little bit, doing weird things to the shadows that almost seem to elongate for a moment. Maybe now seeing him, and although a frail man, but there's something beneath it, something beneath his his very cordial demeanor. Something deep and dark lies behind those eyes.
That is all from me. Thank you for your hospitality. It is quite rare among kindred, I will say.
Oh, it shouldn't be. I remember when Kindred still had the rules and we didn't have to worry about humans. Those were good days. The days before the Inquisition. And you see he kind of gives a bit of a smile, almost gauging your your reactions to what he's saying. And on that note, what is your reactions and what are your thought processes? And then if you're trying to hide what expression it is, then let me know and we'll kind of go from there. We'll start from Anar, since we've normally started with Simon.
Anar is completely preoccupied with the fact that Robert might be around, and so if anything, he is completely like distracted and confused.
Okay, perfect. Crimson.
Really, really, really itching to come face to face with Damien again, but confused, not knowing what the Inquisition would be, and also just like wondering how freaking old is this guy.
Okay.
So confusion on her face.
Okay. Do you wish to hide that at all, or?
I'd say a little.
Okay. Roll me a wits. We'll say, Jesus, excuse me, subterfuge. I will also accept performance or persuasion. If you have any specialties with lying. Do you want to burn any willpower?
No, I don't think I would.
Okay. And then Colton.
Colton is standing up a lot straighter than usual. His hands behind his back, his chest out a little bit, and he's looking around where the piano is, seeing if there's a violin, other things like that, waiting for his time.
Yeah, and you would see like there's like maybe an old Stradivarius that is on the wall, kind of near the cello. It's hung up with some sort of deference. A very, very fine piece, and you see it's part of a set that he has. Maybe it didn't quite register because the cello is more. It looks like the cello is the one that's played more, but there's various other string instruments that align the wall near it. Anything else, Colton?
He's just waiting.
Okay. Simon.
Thinking. I'm sure my shades was out my eyes, but that would be a very visible restraint frown.
And as he looks at Tony's like been kind of quiet, his arms kind of crossed, kind of maybe taking notes in a little notepad, quietly, just kind of observing the situation. And Hugh, what about you?
He was gonna give a nice slow smile at that comment. The Inquisition. No one expects it.
Now, if that is all, I believe Colton had something he wished to discuss with me in private. The rest of you, feel free to enjoy my little paradise, my small city beneath the city, where rot rules and the worms dance. It gives you like I said, those old kind of ground down teeth. Except for his canines that are still so very kindred. And do the rest of you depart except for Colton, or do you stick around? Or I should open it up and just ask, what does the coterie decide to do?
So if there was, a place to exit and go out into the greater Undercity, Anar would be making his way there.
Okay, cool. And it'd be through the door that you came in. I imagine there's that heavy latch that seals, and you'd hear some sort of mechanism that seems to secure this room.
Suppose I will follow Anar.
Crimson is quite curious about. Well, I don't even know if she would have seen that, so she would just follow.
Oh, are you talking about the back room?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here.
I'm gonna hang around Colton.
With the wits awareness that you had earlier. Yeah, I don't think you saw the room. I mean, you would have seen something. You would have seen that he came out and there was something weird about it, but you wouldn't have seen exactly what was in there.
She would go with Simon and Anar.
Okay. And you see the mayor looks at you, Hugh, expectantly.
Oh, I'm hanging around with this one. I don't think I should leave him alone down here.
does you wish to have your conversation with this individual around? Oh, excuse me, your name, Hugh. Mr. Man, as it were.
Well, I'm sure you'll enjoy their company, so it's no matter. Take my arm.
I'm afraid I don't touch.
I'll take his arm.
And it's with that as the three of you leave, we'll go to the three that just departed and what they're doing, and then and then Tony also leaves. Kind of switching a kind of a look with Hugh as he does.
Take care of him, Tony.
He gives you a wink and a smirk. Yeah, you know. I got it. And as the three of you depart, and Nar, Crimson, and Simon, and Tony, what are you guys up to? As the heavy door closes, you see the individual with the mask and the old AK and the old dungarees.
Just give him a nod.
He returns it. Enjoy your stay.
Simon, I'm sorry to hear about your friend. Is she your friend?
She taught me the ropes in her own way of being what we are.
Quite odd, though. He made it seem that she could still be alive.
She's here. I can almost taste it.
Well,
But
I'm here to help if you need.
before we get to that, Tony and Crimson need to talk. Because our timetable is ticking.
Isn't it always?
I was going to say, what else has changed?
Deadlines.
Nothing else has changed.
Well,
I'll get them
except for the
both the
fact that
files.
we know where Damien and Marcus are now, unfortunately.
I'll give them the files. I was given by David.
And that's when you would see the haven, the pictures of the havens of Crimson's, Tony's, I think Hugh's.
I thought it was only Crimson and Tony.
Oh, maybe it would have been Crimson and Tony. Excuse me.
And this is
Hunter files.
You would see like basically documents, like documentations of like habits, like shipments. You would see like pictures of people exiting and leaving. Crimson, you would see pictures of Tim. Some of them he's making eye contact with the camera, looking kind of annoyed.
And these are the same hunters you wanted me to go see.
Well, this could have been avoided, but yes.
You're convinced I could change their mind.
You do sell yourself a little short. But he's
Simon,
aside.
I don't think they're changing their minds. They're pretty dead set on hating Kindred. And it may not seem like it, but I've been trying to lay low. I know that's quite comical, but
there's no
I
hiding.
just want to figure my shit out, get it over with.
Get what over with?
This whole fucking goose chase that the prince has us on. That's one step closer for me to fucking remember who I am and move on. Start a new unlife. One where I'm not being hunted like prey. Yes.
That's all this life is in one way or another.
Yes, but less so. Don't you find it exhausting after a while?
What I find exhausting. No, it doesn't matter. You guys don't get it.
Yeah, I think I
Trying
get it.
to.
I think maybe I have a conversation with these hunters. Maybe try to see what their angle is. Maybe have some peace talks. Because truth be told, I don't want to deal with. If they want to hit, if they want to fight, we'll give it to them. But I would much rather first see if we can maybe talk some sense.
I mean, then you should have let us have that arrangement beforehand.
That would be nice, Tony, but do you think their minds are gonna change?
Well, see, here's the thing, right? We were under a lot of pressure and a lot of time constraints last time. We have a
We
little.
are now.
And for what? What happens when we actually do catch those three? That doesn't magically take away your other problem of you being a sacrifice for the Giovanni. The Prince came and handled his own domain. What is bringing them really going to stop? You're still at risk. As long as they're alive, your freedom's at risk. If you want to delude yourself into believing that maybe, somehow, taking them in to the Prince will solve your problem, I'm sorry. But it's not going to do that.
While this conversation is going on, Anar, what are you doing?
Anar's trying to follow like what they're saying, but he's more like so we're just kind of in a hallway at this point.
Yeah, you're kind of so where you kind of are, there's a long there's high archways of like what seems to be foundations for a structure of like right below like where all these train stations were, these abandoned projects. You're kind of there's like this big door that seems to be like an old abandoned bomb shelter, and now there's like a series of hallways and a series of different passageways you could take. They look as winding and haphazard as ever. Like I said, moss growing on some of the walls, fungus of different kinds, graffiti, chipping paint. With, like I said, the individuals that have gotten lost down here, some of them kind, some of them kindred, kind of going about their business.
I guess I would just be taking note of him at this point, because like what's on Anar's mind is he wants to start exploring this place and figuring out what's here, but like is still attentive to this talk. But like he's clearly looking like he's only half paying attention as this conversation is happening, and he's already looking in other directions.
Perfect.
And say we do run into Damien. You have any countermeasures to stop this little charm over you? Or is this going to be a repeat of last?
Well, he can't charm me down here. Disciplines, remember?
I hate to bring it up, but when we were at Elysium, he charmed you there, and no one's supposed to use a power there as well. So I wouldn't count on that, and I won't be helping you this time with my tricks. So be careful.
Moving back inside of the makeshift bomb shelter, Colton and Hugh. Yes, you wish to speak to me about something more between the two of us, Colton. Is there something that I can help you with? Or maybe there's something you can help me with?
There was another name.
Mm-hmm. My memory is not what it used to be. Please, remind me.
Well, the name is Veronica. But I
Oh,
can
yes.
describe.
She gave me a most magnificent present upon arriving. She
I suspected.
bodies, soldiers to work with. Very, very nice. Magnificent necromancy. Very talented, that one. She'll go many places, I think. But she, unfortunately, no longer, how do you say, roams in the labyrinth. Apparently there was a disagreement between Marcus and Damien and her, and she decided to leave this place for a time. I'm not sure when she will be back or if she will be.
Truth be told, I had a bit of an indiscretion planned in my head. I was going to take you by the arm and walk you around all of your treasured artifacts. I was going to get you talking about the good old days. And I suspect the root of your nostalgia, the biggest artifact you have is that monster outside. And war, isn't it? It's probably what you miss the most.
You see, for a moment, he glances around, and a sinister smile creeps across his face, almost reminding you of what may be looking at something that's primeval, something old. What you see before you is not a man, but a thing. And he's like, yes, war. And he kind of curls his lips. There was a time where... Did we lose someone?
Simon.
Oh. Let's figure it out here really quick. Before we get too deep into it. I'll message him really quickly.
He said he'd be back. I think his stuff went out because of a thunderstorm.
Oh, okay. What we'll do then, we're going to take a quick 10-minute, a little early, just to give Simon some time to unfuck his rig. And we will be back once everyone is back and around. Just want to make sure that we don't want any more, knock on wood, I don't want any more chaos happening. But yeah, we will be back momentarily. We open scene. We return back. The look, the expression. When Colton brings up war, you see there's a certain uncanny fondness in his eyes. Colton, go on.
I was mainly going to rattle the saber a little bit. Maybe ask you for a few war stories.
He takes a seat. I store those memories elsewhere, but what I can tell you, the look on some of these kindred's faces when faced with the horrors of what our true powers are. Or the betrayals, the uprisings. Oh, when the power, so much power, coursing through our veins. There was nothing like it. We were gods. But those times are past.
Are you so sure?
For now, yes. And if I'm being honest, Colton, I'm not sure how much more time I have. Enemies close in all around us. But I have accepted that when it is my time to face the undeath, I will face it like a warrior.
I was also going to share an anecdote.
Oh,
Something
please. I would love
I
to.
had read. It's about an old man. Essentially, it's that the most dangerous tigers, the man-eaters. You know, the Brits, well, they had an empire. You might have missed it. But they went to India for a while and had to deal with man-eating tigers, and the most dangerous ones were always the oldest. I was going to leave you with that as a parting thought.
You see a smile. Again, you are very kind, Colton. Perhaps too kind to a creature such as myself. But that is old, and time waits for no kindred. And there shall be more time. As for how much, I do not know. But, you are very kind, Colton. And had you been in those times, I think you would make a great warrior.
I'll bow slightly.
And he returns the gesture, something old and creaky. Oh. Seems. And he looks at Hugh. We're not the only ones who reminisce of war, are we, Mr. Man? I can see it in your eyes. Beneath it all, beneath your mask.
These kids keep asking for war and they don't know what it is.
I think it depends on the person and the experience. Too many that I've undertaken, they give me memories of horror, of fear, but I see it as a symphony. But war isn't what it used to be. You experienced that when you... that is probably nothing.
No, war is now all about chatting in tea rooms and playing little pieces. And kindred trying to pretend that they still matter to the world at large.
What they don't
They ain't-
understand,
They don't.
we are above humans. They are kind to be corralled and shepherded into the following eons.
That Inquisition did do a number on us.
Well, either we will become strong again, or we shall fade into the obscurities of history, if we're even granted that right. And he creaks as he lays down, sinks into his chair. But I don't believe that's all that you wish to speak to me about. You wanted to know about my relics. Another time, perhaps. Colton, perhaps maybe you would like to make your residence here. We have a need for more warriors.
I would be in some rivalry with Marcus.
Oh, Marcus only. He is paid his dues. He understands the way things should be. I think you and him have more in common than you might think. I can schedule a meeting, as I have said. Are you staying the evening, the day here? Or will you be going back up to the surface?
Will and I had business of some kind. I think we may be here a while. Probably. Yes, I think some lodgings may be needed.
That can be granted. Return here upon a later time. I shall have a vessel prepare something for you. Again, as I would love to speak more, this vessel becomes tired. It is time to rest. And he gets up. You must excuse me.
Thank you for taking the time to chat with us today.
It was my pleasure. You are more than kind to speak with. I would love to talk more at a later time. In the meantime, as that scene fades, going back to Simon and Nar and Crimson and Tony.
Crimson, if you can find this Damien here, what would be the good of talking to him? What do you hope to learn?
Why me? Question he has still yet to answer.
I can relate. The ones who make us are not always clear with their intentions. But is it nothing more than a personal inquiry? He is one of the ones we must deliver, to the prince, is he not?
He is. And I intend to do it alive. But believe me, if I had the chance, I would smash his face in.
You should.
There will be a time for that.
Hey, not to burst your bubble, but we gotta figure out a way to do this without pissing off Uncle Fester in there.
I know,
Yes,
that's why
It seems,
our best bet right
Mhm.
now is that meeting. That's the only option.
It's not the only option.
it would seem we need to get them out of this labyrinth. 'Cause if they're
Yes,
here, they are protected.
that
And I'm
is the
afraid
hope.
I don't know them very well, but what would get them to come out?
Maybe
Can you think of anything?
I have a thought. Tony kind of glances around, kind of looks over his shoulder, verifying that the vault door is still closed to the bomb shelter. We might be able to use this Veronica as bait.
Oh, I know Marcus is.
And where is Veronica?
Well, she's not here. Didn't you hear him say?
And so what worth is...
Redact that.
Don't-
He didn't say that. Redact
don't-
that.
Mm.
You
Excuse me.
remember?
He says, redact that. Excuse me. Tony kind of looks around. He says, well, when he brought up Marcus, and he brought up Damien, but he didn't bring up Veronica.
He already knows where Veronica is.
Probably not
She's
here.
in the woods somewhere, remember?
Well, maybe if we
With some of the cultists.
sweeten the pot a little bit. Maybe we
With what leverage?
put her in some boiling water. He has to come
Leverage
out.
of knowing where she is? They may
No.
not know.
I'm saying we put her under some heat, all right? Jesus.
And what do you have on her?
I got my
Veronica?
gripes. All right, we gotta. Either way, I'm gonna have mine. And we're gonna drag her out kicking and screaming. That's what we need to do to get Damien and Marcus out of here. And that's what we'll do.
Or we can do the more obvious approach. There's one thing they all want, and that's you, Rose.
That was part of my plan. Using myself.
But here, draw them out.
Well, maybe we get them to swing first here. Maybe that'll also do it. Maybe we can get Uncle Fester in there on our side.
Did seem quite fond of Hugh.
Wouldn't put too much stock in that one.
I don't know. I got something felt off the way he was looking at Hugh. There was almost you guys may have seen fondness, but I sensed it looked like one of those looks that you give a guy that gives you the wrong feelings, you know? Like he doesn't add up. Like
The way
I'm gonna
the way
smile.
he smiled
I'm
was
gonna
quite
smile.
creepy, yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna smile quaintly and kind of give the gift a gab a little bit, but in the meantime, they're boiling. I've seen that look before. You know?
He seemed to want to possess things. Simon, it was the one you're looking for who he almost owns now? Is that how he put it?
She belongs to him.
Yeah, how does
Do you
that
think
sound to you?
that's maybe what he's doing with the others right now?
Unfortunately, I need Brigitte, but I can't just blindly swing in here.
Perhaps trading. He speaks of sacrifices, bringing him something in exchange.
Like what?
That's, I guess, what we have to find out while we're here.
We'll deal with the hunters later. This is more important. I know you're
Oh,
quite antsy to get exploring, Anar. As a
Yes.
matter of fact, so am I. We're not going to get any
Which-
answers from standing around.
Brings up, I guess, my final question to everyone, which was this cult that's also interested in you, Rose.
Yes,
And if we can learn anything about it while we're here.
that was my plan.
So, I'll ask you all a favor. This one that was mentioned, this Robert, I'm very interested in finding him. Please keep your eyes open. Robert has a large tattoo on his neck that says Robert, and his forearms are covered in very artful tattoos that I swear they will change when you look at them. So I will be watching. If you spot that, please let me know. Should we wait for the others or press on?
We'll shift the camera for a moment. Hugh and Colton, are you guys exiting as the mayor stands up?
That sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah, if you guys want to roll me a wits insight on your way out. I mean, if you want. Whew. You want to burn any willpower, Colton?
Nah, I'm good.
Well, luckily, did I just accidentally roll again? No. Okay. As you guys leave, you see there's maybe a bit of a hawkish expression as he watches specifically Hugh leave. And with that, as you guys are talking about, no, I wonder if we're gonna wait for them or whatever, you'd see the crinking of the door, and you see the heavy steel just kind of like move into the hallway of this old bomb shelter.
Made any friends yet, you guys?
We were more discussing what we should do next. How was your conversation with the mayor?
Illuminating.
Quite.
Yes, he's hiding a little bit, but I don't
That's
think
to say
we're
the
in
least.
immediate danger. If we're staying here, there'll be a room provided, but it's up to you guys.
I
We
think
haven't
that's
ruffled
wise.
any feathers to get kicked out yet, so.
Sticking around isn't too wise, though.
Then
Well, since
Anar,
we were not furnished
the
with a
way.
map, I suggest we
Unfortunate.
continue in. And so, like, with the hallway, not the way we came in, which is the exit, but how many options do we have besides that?
Yeah, there's a multitude. There's like
Well-
7 passageways.
Jesus. The real question is, do we want to split up? Because that goes great for us every time.
That is a
the
terrible plan.
I don't
Like
know.
it looks
I don't know what you mean, Hugh. Sounds
Now,
like a wonderful
to
plan.
be more specific, right? This seems like it's a place where people are supposed to get lost. It doesn't seem like it's not like a conventional city where like there are blocks and streets. Everything just kind of like winds into itself, and then winds further down and deeper. Um, it seems like the passageways are more less like roads or pathways and more so like veins, stretching and spreading out and spiraling back inward.
I say we take the one on the right.
The left, right, or the right, right? There's
The right. Because in Mongolia, it's lucky to go right.
that's double right.
Unfortunately for us, we're not in Mongolia.
But it is Mongolia somewhere.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
But not here.
I'll like link arms with you. All right then, right it is.
I'm gonna start humming "We're Off to See the Wizard," but legally distinct from that.
Oh,
Can we skip? Can we start skipping down?
Yeah, as you guys do, I imagine Anar. How are you proceeding as Crimson and Hugh kind of take the lead?
I'd be following along with them, and I mean, doing my best to like try to keep a map in my head, which I think will be futile.
Yeah.
But remembering as we approach this that we had whatever it was 7 choices and we're going right, but that's what he's doing at this point, is at least trying to hold some picture of what we're doing, and more like, I guess, looking for irregularities. Like, this is not a normal place. And so as we're going, like, he might even be touching walls to see is there a wall there, or are we just, is this all an illusion? So he'd be doing that kinds of as they're moving along.
If you want to do me a favor, I will take a wits awareness or or I'll take a wits an intelligence survival as well, as depending on what you want to prioritize, feeling the walls or maybe like surveying for anything that looks obscure, or rolling
I think this is less of a survival and this is more the awareness thing, is he's like, can he trust his senses as he's moving through here? Because we did pass through this field of madness, and we, and from the conversation with the mayor, it seemed apparent that like there is more to this place. We're on like the very beginning, and so that it's very much a perception thing that he's trying to do, as opposed to like streetwise or survival stuff.
Sure. As you walk down this, we'll get to you in a moment. Actually, if you want to roll me that wits awareness and hold that number for me, what's everyone else doing?
I imagine the joking between like me and Hugh dies down, and Crimson would get a little serious and observant, looking for any signs of cult activity within the kindred or cult activity within the humans.
Sure. Maybe a wits occult for you then. Keep that number in mind. Simon, what about you?
I simply, watch those two skip off. I look back to Colton and Tony. And just gesture at them like, what are you gonna do? What are y'all gonna do? More like.
Personally, I want to go the fuck back home. I'm fucking thirsty. But duty calls.
If he frenzy, you'll be a problem in more ways than one.
Truth be told, I need to find some sort of something to sink my teeth into.
You really think it's wise to be down here, Tony? I'll ask you.
No, I think this is fucking silly. I think we need to get the fuck out of here. I think we've already done what we needed to. But it's all good. I see that
Yeah.
there are some that need to do stuff. I get it.
You, Colton, found what you're looking for?
It's a deep question. I suppose I could find some things down here.
I just guess it's. Let's see how deep the rabbit hole goes.
And Hugh, what are you doing as you stride abreast of Crimson Rose?
Are we, like, just far enough away for them to not hear us if I speak quietly to Rose?
Oh, from the coterie?
Yeah.
I imagine Anar isn't too far behind you.
That'll be fine. Hey, Crimson.
Yeah, Hugh?
And you're saying this in a whispered tone, right?
I'm saying this in a hushed tone, yes. Crimson, if I should lose my mind, there's something that you're going to need to do.
Alright.
Well,
Sit on you like you
Unfortunate-
sat on me.
that won't work. I'm too big. And I'm gonna, like, kind of, like, look down at her. Like, not, like, in a derisive way, but, like, in a physical, like,
Yeah.
sense. Be like, I don't think that will work very well. But there is a good chance that one of us is going to get struck. And if it's going to be me, I don't need anyone yelling. I don't need anyone screaming, because that's probably already going to be going on in the delusion.
Right?
I just need you to do one thing.
Yes, Hugh.
I just need you to look at me, and I need you to start yelling about how the French are coming as reinforcements.
The French.
The French, yes. Because I suspect that will piss me off so much that I'll just begin yelling about them instead of whatever else is going on, because that won't make any sense.
And Nora, as you hear this, is there any reaction, any like ears perking up, or are you really focused on what you're looking for?
I if he does like hear it, I imagine it would just be almost like a little chuckle or something like that. But he's very much focused on like, is what I'm seeing real? Is this place here?
Sure. Do you want to burn any willpower?
I will, because that was a pretty bad roll.
Abysmal.
That's
Yeah.
re-rolling 3.
Yes, sir. And yeah, you can't reroll hunger. There we go. That's something. 3 successes. Okay. So, and Simon and Colton, I imagine, are you trailing behind the group eventually?
Yeah, just trying to make sure Anar doesn't wander or anything like that, yeah.
Yeah. So, Anar, as you're touching the side, you know, like touching things, engaging the senses, smelling the kind of the mildew, you know, it smells like dust and it smells like decay. It smell of faint scent of death. This place is old. There's older things still that were moved here. But as you're touching the wall, like just trying to engage the touch, you'd feel the mold and the moss, the lichen underneath your touch until your fingers brush over something that feels like a vine. And as your fingers touch it and linger for a moment, you feel a pulse, like a heartbeat And the pulse, as you touch it, you're not really sure, but it feels like it wants to take you with it. You're not sure if it's the your Malkavian senses, your attachment to the web and the madness network, or if it is when someone touches it, if it's meant to be like that. But there was a great thrum, like a heartbeat of something big and hungry and old.
So I guess I would probably try and keep my hand there for a moment, and then whoever is closest to me, I would beckon them to come over.
I imagine that would be Colton.
Colton, could you help me for a moment? I need you to run your hand along this wall till it's by mine, and I want you to tell me what you feel. And I'll move my hand out of the way, but I'm gonna keep very focused on where that spot was.
Yeah, you'd see what seems to be Colton. You'd see that it almost looks like a tangled like some kind of mushroom, some kind of old fungus, but it seems to be in a thick almost vine. And as your fingers, if you want to roll me a wits awareness as well, I imagine you're touching around it. Yeah, you too, as you touch it, you feel the dum dum. But it thunders through the vine almost as a very, very distant but strong heartbeat. And you get the sensation that this thing isn't, it's a vein of some kind. Maybe.
Did you feel the pulse?
Colton will bury his fangs a little bit in surprise, and think to sort of cut it with his nail, but then he'll wonder if a certain coterie member might frenzy from blood. Now, isn't this interesting?
So it wasn't just me. You also
No.
feel it. And I guess at this point, too, I'd be trying to trace the vine. Is it coming from the ceiling into the floor? Is it running along the wall?
Yeah, you
how
see
is it
it
laid out?
Oh yeah, of course. So you'd see that this one seems to be protruding from a loose brick, and as it kind of moves, it kind of spider webs out to and spreads out almost like fingers over to the ceiling, and then into smaller little crevices that seem to be little gaps and cracks within the walls and the masonry.
So is it fair to say it's predominantly more coming out of the wall as opposed to running along the wall?
It seems to be coming out of the wall. Yes.
Yeah. I'll do my best to stop the rest of the coterie too and get their attention to bring them around to this.
Mm.
If I'm going through thinking of occult knowledge or anything, would this ring a bell?
Yeah, roll me an intelligence occult.
Yeah, I was going to do that as well.
Yeah, both of you. Respectable.
Catch 22 question, but does this have anything to do with necromancy specifically?
No,
No, didn't think so.
not specifically. Okay. So, Anar, you're not sure, but you know that some vampires can fleshcraft. This seems to be an old vampire. Logically, the next thing of reason is that something constructed this. Something made this out of living tissue. It's likely that whatever this is isn't just a plant. It's still alive. And then you remember the hole in the back of the mayor's head. Maybe these veins are connected somehow to that.
Did you think perhaps you were going to cut it? I don't know if it's wise to damage anything in this place, but...
And I was going to say, Colton, what you would know is that Samitsi do flesh crafting. Maybe this is a construct of it. Maybe it's an extension of the war form that you saw outside, the war ghoul. But you are unsure.
I thought perhaps to follow it, but it just seems to run into the wall. I cannot pass through walls. I don't know about any of you.
And this is, I imagine, this is when the rest of the coterie kind of congregate.
Yeah, and I'm speaking out loud at all this point, so...
I think it's a marvelous thing that you still have that bag of yours.
Oh.
Not that we need it right now, but...
that would be an interesting experiment.
Mm.
Maybe save it for an old man. Someone can be moving, I guess.
What if this is part of the old man? What if he makes up this city?
Yeah. Never mind.
Interesting.
Anyway. I just wanted to call attention to it.
Constant eyes on us. Assuming. It does seem to be everywhere. Right, you said it was like climbing up the walls, like
Yeah.
going different places.
It seems to be like kind of scattered and reaching in multiple places.
Very advanced security system.
I wonder if we might need to rescue Brigitte and others from a grisly fate involving this. Maybe
The worms feed the machine, maybe.
Yeah, that sounds like a whole bunch of breaking that whole don't mess with stuff thing.
You know, there's one other thing that I remember from the conversation is he was talking about the hedge and the roots.
Yes.
That Robert was tending to. Maybe this is what he referred. Maybe this is one of the roots.
Looking around, do I see any like mirror type object?
What?
Mirrors?
Any mirror? No.
Like,
As far as signs of cult activity, Crimson, no. You have not seen anything. Nothing substantial.
oh, I just meant because didn't the mayor say if we've hit like mirrors or like
Yeah,
tunnels towards the mirror, we've gone too far?
Yeah, you don't see
Yeah,
anything of the sort.
okay.
So I suppose I'll try one thing because we're not supposed to damage anything here, but I'll cut myself and I'll put a few drops of my blood on the root and see what it does.
It's at that point, something does happen. You'd see how now. You got to tell me exactly how you do this.
So I guess I would go just from the thumb, right? And either bite it, just open it up a little bit, and I wouldn't put my thumb on it, but like holding it above it, I would try to like just squeeze a few drops so that I'm not physically contacting it. The blood drops from my hand, enters through space, and then lands on the root. That's the
Yeah.
intent.
So it's just a drop, right?
Just a drop.
You'd see that the it kind of beads there for a moment. And then you see little it seems to be a little what seems to be a pseudopod of some kind, like a weird kind of extension. It seems to be kind of moving. You see it kind of engulfs the little drop of blood. And you see it kind of shifts and squirms and like it almost like a set like have you ever seen cells capturing like a prey? It's almost like the part of the root or the vine or the vein kind of parts and kind of swallows it, making a little pocket. And then you see it violently kind of churn until finally it stops. But you see where you drop that little thing of blood, you see a little bit more of a little tiny vein that extends out. Now trying to find some new. Have you ever seen like cordyceps kind of grow, like in speed motion? You'd see it kind of grows and kind of buds and tries to find like footing amongst the brick.
Quite interesting, wouldn't you all
That
say?
explains why he would need sacrifices.
Well, I think that's all I'm going to do with this root for now. Anyone else want to try something? If not, I guess we should press on.
I have that silver necklace. Can I like put it against the root to see if it doesn't?
Yeah. How do you do that?
Well, I can imagine all the goodies I've taken are in my pocket, and so noticing that Anar didn't make contact, I would like kind of like hold it up till it was dangling and just like slowly put the part that's not attached to me against the.
It's yeah, no. You see as you touch it, you see you just kind of like touch it a little bit. And there's not a lot that happens right away, but you see the vine slowly starts moving a little away from it. Not that it seems to be in pain or it's not sudden, but it just kind of drifts away. And you see as that tiny movement happens, you see the rest of the veins that extend into elsewhere kind of shift as well.
Not a fan of silver.
Like it's not in a hurry, it just kind of
No,
like
yeah.
slightly deviates.
I'll just take the necklace back and put it back in my.
Do you guys move forward?
I'll stop and stare at it at least.
Hmm.
I'd say we move on, yeah.
Okay. As you do, it's not long before you reach what seems to be an old train tunnel. And this is when you'd see various individuals going about their business. You see, so there's one guy who's playing guitar. A lot of just people. Minding their own. I need everyone to roll me a wits awareness, though.
Once again.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. So, Anar, there's going to be, I'm going to give you a choice. Either you see it and something to your, something as the voices kind of take hold, or you don't notice it.
I'd want to see it.
Just want to give you the choice. I know Anar himself doesn't have the choice, but with that roll,
Mhm.
So first things first. With everyone looking around, you'd see a couple of the individuals at first look like Nosferatu, but then you see not quite. They're individuals that seem like that their skin is too tight. Almost and that's when you start to notice that they almost look a little too perfect. Like a couple of them look like they're like almost like plastic surgery, but it's doesn't quite fit. It's almost like they look like dolls. Like one of them, another one looks like has teeth that extend way too long, and have like really large like lizard like eyes that extend past, and then that look larger than what they are. But then when you get closer, you realize that there's another eye on top of the eye socket that's normally there. Leaving them with literally four eyes. Another one seems to be smoking a cigarette with like what seems to be um, a fedora, but his face almost looks like really uncanny. When I say uncanny, it almost looks waxy, almost looks like a burn victim, but like with reconstructed facial features. So it's like their face doesn't have any indents. It doesn't have any creases. It's just kind of like a square face with like a nose that's slightly a little too upturned with beady black eyes. But Anar, despite these individuals, you see what seems to be a familiar figure, and as your vision gets closer, like closer to this figure, the noise is almost unbearable. The voices, almost out of nowhere, go to like a cacophony. It's like you can't hear any of them. It's like they all are screaming something all at once, but all of them are talking, so you can't discern who's speaking where. But as you do, as your gaze locks in, you would see Robert. Now, he looks like an older man. Um, he has a short, graying and salt and pepper beard, thick, but short. He looks like a very older man, like maybe in his 70s. Various creases throughout his face, wrinkles, and kind of red, kind of baggy eyes, bloodshot. Not so much, mostly bloodshot and brown irises. His hair a little longer and swept back. big tattoo Robert on his neck that you can see as he seems to be writing down something in what seems to be a journal of some kind, a leather-bound book.
I
Now,
would meet. Oh, so go ahead.
Give me one more second.
Mhm.
So that's what everyone else sees. As far as you, this man, he looks kind of inconsequential compared to the rest. And you would also see that there's also, in addition, probably a more conventional looking Nosferatu, if that is a term. Longer bat ears, kind of looks like there's little chunks taken away, almost like rodent-like teeth, with like the sharp vampire fangs as well. Kind of like this individual has particularly like almost purplish eyes as he's talking with another one of the weirdos that you see. Continue, Anar. As you hear that cacophony, what do you do?
I mean, there would definitely be a look of pain on his face because it's just like immense sound, right?
Yeah.
For sure. And just so I'm clear on this description, I recognize the Robert tattoo. So I see that.
Yeah, you would recognize Robert.
Ignoring everyone, I would immediately beeline to him, and however he's sitting, I would try and basically like get my face right in his, and then wait to see if he acknowledges me. Like I wouldn't say anything to him, but I would just be like, so that he can look at nothing else but me. And
yeah,
then see what he does.
As you step closer, is that you would see, all of you would see Anar just kind of go off like directly to Robert, and as you get closer, the voices even get louder still, to the point where you don't even know who you are anymore.
I mean, I would continue. He would take damage if he's going to take damage. Like,
yeah,
someone would have to tackle him.
No, you would see. What is his expression though?
It's frustration at this point, because he's been looking for a while. And so, like, it's a combination of frustration and disbelief that, like, he might actually be able to talk to him. And at this point, like, what he's after, what Anar wants to know is when he gets face to face with him, like, is he going to recognize me?
Hey, who are you, guy? What are you doing? Like, the Nosferatu almost seems to walk in front of you. Hey, what are you doing? Hey.
I know it's illegal, but I would, like, forget. I would just, even though it's a power, I don't care. He would just, like, get out of my way, forget, and keep going.
Oh, I need you to make me that roll, please.
Sure. That is...
And what is that versus? Excuse me, I don't have the power list up right now.
So this is not against a mortal.
No, it's not.
So you are wits plus resolve, and I'm charisma plus dominate.
Wits resolve?
Yes, you are wits resolve, and I am charisma dominate. So I'll roll mine.
I will make this public just because. Oh, god damn. Oh. So how do you do this? You just say, like, really quickly, like,
right.
Forget.
So like, the only thing that I'm really focused on right now is Robert, and so I'm moving towards him, and, like, depending on how strong the voices are, like, there could almost be tears at this point, but he's pushing through it. And the moment this guy, like, tried to be like, hey, what are you doing, or whatever, like, not breaking his focus on Robert, it would just come out, and he'd just, like, I don't know if I actually have to catch his gaze or not, but it would be quick. It would just be like, forget, and then he just keeps moving on because he doesn't care about anything else.
Yeah, and you'd see him kind of, like, stare off, like, in oblivion for a moment, this other Nosferatu. What are you guys doing as a coterie once you see that?
We'll go to stop him.
You'll stop Anar?
Yes.
How do you do this?
Well, he's going for it at a breakneck space. I always try to stop him by just simply grabbing his collar at the back of his shirt.
Okay. what's really quickly before because I imagine this is going to be PvP or something of the sort. What's everyone else doing? As it looks like Simon's going in to grab him. I'm imagining that this all happens really quickly. I'm imagining Anar just taking off, walking really quickly, and I don't think that it would really look weird at this point, except for the pained expression on Anar's face, and then suddenly the forget. So I'm not going to take away agency from Anar. You don't get to interrupt that, but I imagine seeing that, that's what urges you to kind of restrain him, right?
Yeah, because he kind of broke one of the rules.
Just so we're clear on the order of things, right?
Yeah.
What's
Obviously that's how I thought it.
What's everyone else doing? Really quickly.
Can we see Robert too?
Yeah, you would see this.
Okay,
What seems to be
I can imagine Crimson, seeing he used one of his disciplines, would be freaking out and run up to him, kind of past him to Robert, and try and like get Robert. Is he like walking away? Get him to stop, or at least like introduce yourself to buy some time, so that maybe it's a little less rushed.
Okay, we'll put a pin in that. Hugh and Colton. Hugh first. What are you doing?
I'm staying back. I'm not getting in with 40 feet of that crazy.
Okay. Colton?
I'm looking around, seeing if there's what kind of punishment might be in store for us.
Gotcha. So, Crimson, I imagine that Anar kind of passes out ahead of you, like in a breakneck, like I'm almost imagining almost a run, Anar. Would that be fair to say? Or like a jaunt, like a very speed walk.
It's fast walking. I don't, because of like how much he's having to deal with mentally right now. Like I don't think he's capable of running, but it would be, like determined fast walk as fast as he can go.
So as you do, and this happens, and you go straight to Robert, right? Crimson, you see Robert. He seems to be kind of like looking down at his notes. He's just kind of standing there, occasionally like writing down, looking up, like trying to remember something. His like profile is to you guys as he's kind of like looking at this abandoned train, and he's occasionally writing down stuff. And as this happens, Anar does get to him first. Crimson, Simon, I'm imagining that you guys are within 5 feet of you're within 5 feet of Anar. So once he reaches Robert, because he did kind of overtake everyone, and you would have to catch up to him. I'm imagining that you will try to grab him. Anar, I'm imagining that you do not want to be grabbed.
Yeah, I mean, if I see him coming,
if he's already there, there's no point in me trying to grab him. Honestly,
because he basically started speed walking towards. Because I'm imagining that because at the rate that he was going, he would get to Robert first. That's why I tried to get the whole thing, the whole order of things figured out first. I mean, he's not. Yeah, he's pretty much there.
Mm-hmm. So as long as he doesn't physically try to stop me, I won't do anything. If Simon tries to stop me, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to try and make him forget.
Okay, Simon. With the knowledge of what happened, do you still try to intercede yourself?
No.
Okay.
He's already there. There's really no point.
Sure. And as you do, Robert looks up at you, Anar. Crimson, what are you saying to Robert? Because I'm imagining you're trying to make contact with him, right?
Yeah, I can imagine. Crimson would just be like, excuse me, are you by chance Robert?
Now, as Crimson's saying this, Anar, what are you saying?
There is one mission here, and that is I am trying to put my face directly in his field of view so he can look at nothing else. If she's in my way, I'm going to push her out of the way.
Okay. So I'm almost picturing this kind of happening
not violently, I'm not trying to punch her, but I will move her out of the way.
Yeah, so as you kind of push Crimson out of the way,
my.
I'm imagining it being that it's not an aggressive move. Do you protest, Crimson? 'Cause you can.
No.
Okay. As you're like, you start saying things, Anar, all of whatever Crimson's saying, it doesn't make sense to you. It's like gibberish amongst the screaming and the voices. And you see Robert looks up in a confusion and he kind of squints. And finally, he like a light bulb, a realization almost reaches him, and he puts his thumb to your forehead. And like that, everything just goes deafening quiet.
Hello. Do you know who I am?
You're the reader.
Oh, my name is.
You're the reader, right?
You're not gonna do it, are you? You're not gonna tell me my name. I know who you are, Robert. Who am I?
You are.
I'm gonna put my hands up on his head so that he can look at nothing else. Just tell me.
You see, he almost looks like
am.
he almost looks like he's in like a fog, almost like he can't quite. You look so familiar, so close, but yet so far. You look at the reflection, but the cracks stop you from seeing.
Always the same thing with you, isn't it? You can't tell me what my name is, can you? Do you even know it? No more riddles.
I know I knew it once. That was a different man, a different face. I'm a different face today. Hello. And he looks at Crimson. And he slowly closes his book. This is not a fine place to meet a lady. I see you have friends.
Yeah. I've met some new people. Where have you been? Down here?
I've been tending to the garden, you see, and I've been exploring the maze that lies beneath.
More important than me, isn't it? All this stuff down here.
And you would see as you guys got closer, like as he stated before, there's that tattoo of Robert, but on his arms, on his forearms, both on the external and the internal sides, you'd see what seems to be very artistic surrealism, almost optical illusions that they're almost dizzying to look at as you see like these abstract shapes almost seem to shift with the move with every move, and if you stare at it long enough, there's a certain sort of dizzying effect that it has. Not necessarily like actively, but it's like when you stare at an optical illusion too long, like that kind of thing. And yeah, he looks at Anar. I'm afraid you don't even know yourself. How can you expect me to know who you are?
Well, I'm working on knowing myself and knowing more. You started all of this, didn't you? You showed me more, and then you just go. So, Robert, here I am. I've been working hard. What have you been doing?
Oh, the shadows dance, the shadows sing. I'm sure that you've met them, haven't you?
I think we've been introduced. Robert.
You're so lost, so confused. Oh, if only you were worth remembering.
Yeah. Why don't you tell me how I can be worthwhile to you? Anything? A clue? A riddle? Or are you just going to forget and go away?
No forgetting. That was yesterday's Robert. Today's Robert is not about forgetting. It's about writing.
Well, maybe you can share with me what you're writing. How about that?
Hey, hold on. And one of you see the kindred with like the warped features of like what almost seems reptilistic. What is going on here? This what'd you do to Jeb? Jeb, hey, Jeb is sort of slapping like the Nosferatu on the ground. Hey, what'd you do to him?
I'm not even paying attention to him. Like, I'm eyes locked on Robert.
Hey, are you fucks? Think you can just be in here? Is that it? You guys think you can just throw your weight around? Is that what it is? I wait till the mayor hears about this.
Your face, it's so... I've never seen anything
Yeah,
like
what you're gonna
it.
say? What you're gonna say that I'm a freak?
No,
That's
not
your
at all.
fucking.
Say it's quite mesmerizing, quite beautiful actually. It's never seen anything like it.
Well, thank you. I did it myself.
Oh, really? An artist of sorts.
I can shape yours too if you want. Maybe then I won't be as apt to report you to the mayor.
And what would you like to do to my face?
Oh, I want to rip it apart and do it all new, make it upside down, maybe even.
You know, that does sound fun, but I would much rather see how you do it on yourself first.
Oh, trade secrets. What about you fucks? Who are you? What are you doing here? What do you want with him?
Just passing through. My friend really wanted to meet him. Old buddies, actually. Just catching up.
I don't know. He doesn't seem like he knows him.
Oh, you know how Malkavians can be, right?
What is everyone else doing?
I was going to approach, but I stopped myself, noticing that someone was trying to dismiss the tension here.
What about you, Colton? What are you up to? As Hugh, I imagine, is still staying back, right?
Yeah, I'm not going near that.
Not touching that crazy with a 10-foot stick.
Yeah, I'm basically just gonna try and give Tony a bit of a nudge.
Yeah, Tony starts cracking his knuckles a little bit, thinking like, now, child, you are... You're just as lost as I am, aren't you? These god dang tunnels, they're just a little too long, aren't they? Don't quite make sense.
We can get unlost together. How about that?
No, I don't think so. I don't think you're there yet. I don't think you're quite one with it yet.
You told me to come down here, didn't you? Didn't you? That's why I'm here. It's all you. You just get me down here. You put yourself in a place where I can find you, and then you tell me nothing, and you just go away again.
I've told you much, but you just don't seem to listen. That's why I think you're lost.
I am lost, Robert.
Yeah, welcome. I am Robert the Lost. I'm very lost.
Then let's just be lost together, Robert.
You need to learn. You learn something. And he waggles his finger at you. You need to. What was I saying?
We're all lost. And I know nothing.
Oh, I'm glad you finally admitted it.
You can be proud of me for that.
You can spend as much time as you want, but you're not listening. You don't listen.
Maybe you should turn the voices back on.
I think that if I did that, you wouldn't be ready to hear them. And
then
the
tell
voice.
Me how to get ready.
Why ruin the fun of the journey? The time will come. Here,
Walk with me. Do you want to see where the shadows are the longest? Where there is nothing?
I
Do you
certainly
want
do.
to see what nothing looks like?
Yes.
How about the rest of you? Do you want to see nothing?
I've
Does this
seen it
nothing
already.
lead to something?
Every nothing leads to something eventually, or something leads to nothing. How about you? You lot seem really lost. I think
I
you
know
could-
exactly where I am.
I don't think you do. I think you're something that doesn't quite understand. You
No,
don't get it. But you think that you do with your claws
the claws are
and your
meaningless.
wings. Oh, you haven't found them yet.
Oh, they're found. It's just that they're not important. Robert the Lost.
Would you like to see a little bit of what I see?
Who are you directing that to?
And he looks he says that openly, but he looking at Anar.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just nodding at this point. I'm ready.
I think you need to close your eyes, young one. And he goes to touch.
Yeah, I'd close my eyes. I wouldn't stop him.
And he touches your forehead. And then suddenly he goes to touch your forehead, and then he reaches and he pulls your eyelids open. And as he stares at you, Anar, I need you to roll me composure and intelligence.
Composure. Got you. Okay. I can rouse the blood to get a little extra here. Can I not?
Yep.
So, what is that? Just a rouse check for that, or?
Yep. Just a rouse check.
Okay. So here's the rouse check.
Oh, okay. You passed. No
Pass.
more hunger.
Okay, and that gives me +2 to intelligence.
Yep. Whatever your blood potency is.
Yep. Or whoa, that was you.
That was me.
Okay. And that's mine.
Okay, give me 1 second here. 1, 2, 3, 2. Okay. Give me 1 moment. Okay. So you essentially are mechanically, let's see here. Give me 1 moment. I got to make sure this is done correctly. Okay. So you, Anar, don't know where you are. You are in a pool of empty darkness. And at first it's fine. At first it kind of makes sense. Robert looked at you and then you were here, but now it really doesn't make sense. Now who are you again? What are you? What could you be? Were you even a person to begin with? And then that you start to panic. You're losing yourself. Your own psyche is dissolving like an ice on a hot ice turning into water on a hot day, melting right before your eyes. You can almost feel your consciousness slipping between your fingers. You're trying to catch it, but it's like nothing. And then you feel cold. So cold. And then you realize something. You are nothing more than a node in a series of nodes, on a sprawling network of nodes. You are nothing compared to this network. You are small. You're so small, it's horrifying. Now, you need something to help make sense of it. What's Anar doing?
How much control do I have over myself at this point?
Well, how about you tell me, and we'll kind of go from there. I think you're pretty creative. I kind of trust you.
Yeah, I mean, this is what Anar knows but does not accept. So if he's getting more of this realization that that this is eternity to him, there would probably be like some type of self-harm that he would probably be doing, clawing at his face. If this went into his eyes, he might even because he's seeing it, he's trying to rip out his eyes at this point.
Perfect. Okay. So the difference was, let's see here. Anar, it's 1, 2, 3, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we'll say in this moment, you're gonna deal. I'm gonna give you a choice. You want it to be physical damage, though. It sounds like, right?
This is where I asked how much physical control I have over, in his mind, as Anar is realizing this, this is what he is envisioning. So whether this is mental damage onto himself or is physical, it doesn't matter. It's like he wanted to know, and Robert's telling him, and now he's dealing with the consequences.
Yeah. So I'm gonna say you deliver 5 superficial damage to yourself.
Okay.
I imagine some of that bleeds over to aggravated as you are I imagine. Well, I'll let you decide how you do it and what this looks like as you are ripping your eyes out of your sockets. As you see the rest of you, what you see is this old man just this old man just kind of grabs as he grabs Anar's flips his eyes open after telling him to close them. Robert looks at it, just makes eye contact, and then walks away. Just starts walking away, kind of his head hung low, kind of shaking his head. And at this point, he the goons that are seeming to kind of approach you, he kind of waves them off. He is paid the ferryman. Now this is and as soon as he says that, that's when Anar would probably start freaking out. So now it's kind of up to everyone, whatever you guys want.
Noticing, he's physically ripping his eyes out, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'll leave it to Anar on how that looks. And in fact, Anar, because this is how I'm picturing it. He opens up your eyes, he looks at you, he calls off the guys, and he just starts walking away as Anar's kind of in a daze, and then suddenly it snaps.
Yeah, and it would probably start with just like, probing or rubbing the eyes, and then the fingers would just get deeper and deeper until they're just going like behind the eyeballs. And so like I don't know if the eyeballs literally just pop out of the sockets, but it would actually like there's no frenzy. It's actually eerily under control. It's just like it has to stop. It has to stop. So not just like viciously clawing. It's just like he's seeing it, he knows it, and he wants to stop seeing it. And so it's just this very deliberate and like. So I have a health pool of 6. So I don't think that bleeds over into aggravated.
Okay, no, it doesn't then. But you are effectively blind, though. I will say that.
Yeah. But like, if I'm able to actually like not scream while I'm doing this,
yeah, that's
like,
fine. That's fine.
That's what he would be doing until like, I don't know if it even stops when he does this, or if that vision just persists until like he would just kind of slump into a pile and almost go catatonic. I would imagine.
Sure.
Until this vision ended.
Well, what's everyone else doing on that note?
Now I would go to stop him from yanking his own eyeballs up.
Yeah, I was gonna say Crimson would like viciously try to yank his like arms away from his face.
Anar, as this happens, like the damage is done, but it's not enough. That they're stopping you from seeing the vision.
And if I have to push him on the ground and pin him down to like stop him, I will.
It would just be this eerie, like deliberate trying to resist you, but like not fighting. It's just like something is happening and it has to happen. So like it's not violence. It's just like trying, and you might be like muttering, just like let it happen, don't stop it. So it's this confusion of like there's control in him, but like this utterly bizarre self-harm and like emotionless on the outside almost.
Okay.
So you would have to like grab each arm and physically pin him down. And like Anar's a wet noodle. He's not very strong. So I imagine you could do it. But as you would do that, he would just continually be resisting you, trying to get back to what he was doing. And then just muttering and mumbling to himself. Or like internally in his head, it would probably be much more intense. But the exterior physical presentation of it would just be this odd mechanical like resistance to you.
Sure. Roll me, Crimson, roll me a strength athletics. Simon, you said that you wanted to stop him as well.
Yeah, but I was gonna do something more simple. Just punch him, knock him out.
Well, Kindred don't work like that. They don't really lose consciousness when a bunch of blunt force trauma, unless you knock them into torpor.
Well, I'll give him a good sock.
Okay. Roll me strength brawl. Well, strength brawl. Now, while he's doing that, what is everyone else doing? Hugh, watching this from a distance, what's Hugh thinking?
Hugh's just kind of grossed out by this point, but honestly not shocked by any of the proceedings that have gone on. So at this point, is Colton still like by me?
That's up to Colton. Are you?
Yeah.
Oh, I was kind of next to
Tony, right?
Tony, yeah, and I was just I suppose Colton would have been just kind of looking at the other guy, the one who was offering the fleshcraft. But since this has started, he's probably I'm not even sure. Just kind of watching Anar do his thing.
Literally lose his mind. So, Simon, what does this look like as you literally punch Anar?
Just a simple walk up and wind up and just nice hook.
So I'm picturing Crimson trying to nicely like pull
He's just
his
kind of
arm,
like just grabbing his arms, like, "Come on, Anar, you can't be doing this."
and then just boom, and then just like because you can't really resist. You do I will mitigate some of this. I will mitigate some of this. But wait, hold on. Okay. So Anar, are you gonna mechanically put up a fight
No.
away from this? Okay, because I basically what I was gonna do is I was gonna set a challenge rating, and everything that exceeded that for his attack is gonna do damage to you, if that's all right.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm
That
not going to
makes
fight
sense.
back against Simon.
Sure. So
If anything, right, like, losing consciousness is the only way out of this, I would guess, for him.
Okay. So the difference is 3. So you would take 3 more superficial damage.
Okay, so that's going to go final. So 1 point will go into superficial, and then 2 points will become aggravated at that point.
Okay. So now
Is
you
that
have
how it
3.
should work?
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
And you're still trying to claw your eyes out?
Well, I'm pinned by Crimson, right?
Yeah. She kind of was starting to get your hands under control. Now with the jolt of the punch, I imagine that there's a would you have let go, Crimson?
I imagine it as I had his hands. He knocked him out. Probably, dare I say, even knocked him on his feet, like on his ass.
Yeah.
And at that point, I imagine Crimson would drop like to her knees violently and just try and re-grab his hands.
So what I'm picturing is that as Simon walks up to Anar and just slugs him like as hard as he can, I'm imagining Crimson and Anar are standing as she's trying to get control of his wrists, trying to get wrist control, and then Simon just punches literally Anar out of her hands, and he kind of like flops against a wall like a wet noodle, and kind of just blood spurting everywhere out of his eyes, and Crimson kind of like again trying to fumbly, like trying to grab his wrists.
I can imagine. Sorry.
Oh, you're good. Go.
I can imagine Crimson being like, "You gave me unwanted help, then I'm giving you unwanted help now." Referring back to Elysium.
And it's at that point that you see Robert kind of shake his head. And as him and his entourage continue on, kind of moving into one of the abandoned trains, and the blood, and as it kind of hovers over his shoulder, that's where we'll end tonight's session of Vampire the Masquerade. All right. PCFMs, let's do some feedback. Oh, what?
Like I said, get to get in Wrath of Blood.
Yeah. Well, on that note, we'll do pros cons favorite moment. For those who maybe are new to this, tell us what we did right. Tell us what we did wrong. But if you're going to tell us what we did wrong, give us a way to improve. Let us know how immersed you were, if you were at all, and what was your favorite moment, and then maybe what you as an audience are looking forward to. That's kind of how we do things. And if you're viewing this over YouTube, feel free to post that in the comments. Drive that, feed the algorithm gods, as it were. Pay tribute to them. They are an angry and mean deity. So we'll start. I believe I started with Simon. Anar, do you want me to come back to you, or do you want to go first?
Oh, I can go. I guess the summation of this whole session was, well, that escalated quickly. I didn't know. So pros. I wish we could have gotten more into the Undercity. I was definitely looking forward to the first time that I met Robert, and I wasn't sure how it was going to go. Well, apparently it went that way. Cons, it was a little rough being off for 2 weeks and then jumping back in. So that
Yeah.
was, that's always a bit discombobulating. Favorite moments? Sorry, the meeting Robert at the end. This was pretty intense. And I just tried to roll with it. So
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
you can tell me offline if you want, but did you? Because I know that was a very impactful moment for you as a player. How did you feel about that?
I actually enjoyed it because Robert is not good to Anar at all. Like it's the like evil tough love kind of thing. And Anar's character is sort of like a repressed Malkavian who doesn't really embrace what he is. And so like what Robert would want to do is exactly what he did. Be like, you want to know? Bang, here, deal with it. And so like that's the consequence that now Anar has to continue to live with, is that like he knows, he just won't accept it. And so if anything, this was, I think we had talked a little bit about lore, where I think it was like in Seattle courts where Malkavians get their eyes removed, you know. And so if anything, like this was not planned, this just kind of happened, and I'm just like, okay, maybe I'm gonna be blind for the rest of the this season, who knows. So I enjoyed the way that you played Robert, because he should not be caring, he should not be kind, he literally just doesn't give a fuck about Anar. Anar's just a tool.
Okay, so that's mostly what I was really worried about, to make sure that he was, because I made it a point to really read the notes that you had on him. I just want to make sure that I was playing him correctly, like that whole after intense scene aftercare type shit.
Yeah, like you could have just said, "Oh, hi, Anar," and like it could have gone another way. But the fact that you didn't, like, you played in perfectly to like the sort of cruelty that Anar thinks of from Robert. And if you haven't figured it out by now, like, Robert is my sire. So anyway, super awesome. I can't, and so then most looking forward to, like, I don't know if we're going to be able to continue exploring the Undercity. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. But yeah, this was definitely fun. So thank you, everyone, and now you can all go.
Okay. Yeah, we'll continue in that vein. Honestly, hats off roleplay to Anar. Hugh, if you want to go, we would love to hear.
Pros, cons, favorite moment. Pros, getting to listen to your attempted Tony speak.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good.
Yeah, it was actually better than I thought it was going to be.
Okay.
You know what? It was actually, like, for what it was, man, like, it was actually pretty good. I think you did a good job with it.
Thank you. I didn't want him to take too much of a center. I wanted him to add enough, but yet not be like detract from the people who were here, all that fun stuff. So
yeah, I was like, I didn't know how to really deal with it, so I was just like, I'll just kind of say, you take care of them. And you did.
Fantastic.
Cons.
Tony's not
here. Yeah, cons, it's just like, yeah, being away for 2 weeks, kind of rough coming back and being like, all right, how does all this work again?
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah. Favorite moment? Honestly, I really like just chatting with the mayor. That was pretty fun. Simon attempting to knock out a vampire with a punch.
Yeah, that was good.
But also, like, I like linking arms with Rose and just the weird little simpatico moments we keep having, where it's just like, we agree. Just like we keep linking arms, I think, and just like
doing crazy person
doing
things.
Dumb shit.
Doing dumb shit. So I love it. I love those moments. Yeah, I'm looking forward to just anything that happens and seeing what goes on down here and with Anar.
Sure. Sounds good. Well, Crimson, speaking of which,
Pros, cons, favorite moment.
Yeah.
Pros, I liked that you put some images in the pics for the immersed. It really helped me visualize like the Undercity kind of.
Well, you guys as an audience can't see them.
I understand, but as a player, it really helped immerse me.
Okay.
Cons, yeah, like everyone said, just being off, which is fine. We had to, but kind of threw me off a little. Kind of had to like extra re-jog my memory on where we were. Favorite moment. That whole thing with Anar was really good. Like that entire like your roleplay storyteller is very good. Really, really could visualize him like recognize, which was gross, but you know. What I'm most looking forward to? Well, one, dealing with the aftermath of Anar, and then fully getting that meeting with Marcus and Damien.
Alrighty then. On that note, Simon, what do you got for me? I know we probably should start with you last, but I'm gonna ask you anyway because I wanna.
Okay. Pros, cons, favorite moment. Cons. Poor Tony.
Yeah, poor Tony. We miss him.
And
He'll be
poor
back.
Tony Jr.
Tony Jr. He'll probably be back next week.
Pros. Oh, another con is I still can't believe today's Thursday.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. For context, like all of the players thought today was like not Thursday for some reason. So like
Wednesday.
yeah.
It was Wednesday today, dudes.
I swear to God, it was Wednesday. I swear.
And Wednesday was actually Thursday.
Crazy.
Inception.
Craziness.
Yeah.
Craziness.
It was Thursday somewhere.
The Mandela effect.
It's Thursday
But-
somewhere, yeah.
Anyways,
Today is actually Friday, guys.
No, my god, don't do that. Don't do that.
Hey, you
Maybe
can
it's Saturday,
thank
who knows?
you can thank the silo of the chaotic.
No,
all
no,
right?
no.
So yeah, not knowing today was Thursday kind of led to things happening. So I was kind of off my game today. So there's that.
That's okay.
Pros, I think the explanations were good. The details were good. I do like the introduction of Mayor. It made him very uncannily creepy. I think that was a very good effect. So kudos.
Good.
You play a good
should
old
be-
man.
You should be horrified.
I don't know about horrified.
Oh, I was horrified.
You know,
You're hard to
As a
scare,
ca- as-
Simon. So
I mean, honestly, I'm gonna be kind of break it all to you guys. Honestly, the scariest thing Simon saw is when he fought that very first vampire he made. Honestly,
The first
it's kinda
what?
hard. First vampire. Oh my god, the very first vampire. You know. And it's
Oh,
kinda hard
yeah,
to top
S,
that.
yeah.
It's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to top that one for me.
That's fair. Audience, you don't know this, but the first unstreamed game, the first game ever of Vampire the Masquerade, I wanted to come up with this antagonist. And without getting too far into it, you might see him eventually, but he is an antagonist I love to death. He is a Nosferatu that is absolutely unhinged, obsessed with martial arts, but like in the worst way possible. Like he just wants to like he just wants to like prove who's the best, and he wants to know who's the strongest. That's where his Nosferatu little thing comes in, where they want to know, right? They have this.
Gee, I wonder why you like him so much.
I know. He is. Yeah, he's kind of a crazy person. But yeah, no, he's but yeah, no, yeah, my inner goblin personified. Yeah, he's a literal my inner trash goblin personified in the most horrifying way possible. Yeah, he if anyone has a comparison, I was very inspired by Nosferatu Zod from Berserk. But anyways, yeah, my inner goblin. Yeah, go on, Simon. Sorry for the tangent.
You're good. And other than him being hard to scare, it's more so of, man, the deeper I get into this, the more tiresome it gets. That's where Simon is now. And it kind of finds it ironic that these guys are willing to be, cordial with a guy who crafts flesh, but not it too much of a concern to talk to a couple guys with guns. It's kind of ridiculous. But yeah.
When you
That's
put it
awesome.
like that, Simon, Jesus Christ.
Say that again. Sorry, I missed.
I'd say at this point, Simon's like exasperated because it's like, oh, you guys are really talking to a guy who creates like flesh crafted creatures, but guys with guns is doing the line is crossed. Okay.
That's funny. All right.
But yeah. And favorite moment. It kind of sucks. I missed the conversation between what's his name, Colton and the old man. So I guess that's my favorite moment because I didn't see it.
No, I mean you can like something that your character didn't see, but you personally were able to be an audience to.
I mean, I didn't see it. Remember my
Oh yeah, your thunderstorm. Yeah.
That's what I said. Favorite moment. I never saw it, but favorite moment.
Did you have anything else to add?
No, sir. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your time, baby. Colton, what do you got?
Cons. Poor. Really say many. I mean, I hope that there's a nice little village in here somewhere, and it's not just quote unquote a town, but really just a maze.
It's kind of a haphazard of both.
But yeah, for pros, I liked the voice acting. I liked the characterization of that our lovely host. Yeah, that was good.
Thank you.
Yeah, and you play Tony well, obviously.
I try. I'm no replacement. That's what you get.
Yeah. Favorite moment? Oh. Yeah, probably Anar trying to pluck his eyes out. Yeah.
That was pretty great.
Always fun.
Yeah. What else you got, Chief?
That's about it for me. Yeah.
Okay. All right, I'll get into it, and then we'll get into what chat said. I'll make it short and sweet to the point. Pros, or cons. Yeah, I was off today too, but I felt like with the amount, what little prep time I had, I think I was able to use effectively. So, I felt well prepared for the session. But I could feel that once I got into the groove, that like you guys were still trying to find it a little bit. So that's why I tried to give you guys as much as you can to try to like readjust. And I think it worked as much as it possibly could for taking it 2 weeks off. But I think all in all, I think this was awesome. You guys weren't like, it wasn't super noticeable. I don't think. I think you guys still did fucking wonderful. Especially with Hugh, Colton, and Crimson. I mean, all of you did amazing. And Nar, that was I'll do kind of a really quick Hugh, your interaction with the mayor with Colton, that was really fun.
He wants my body.
Oh, he wants
That's all I could think the entire time. I was gonna say that too. I was like, he wants my body. I think he wants inside of me.
My body! My body!
No! Simon, you just, the way that Simon handles problems is just like the funniest of just like, oh, I'm just gonna fucking hit Anar. Like he's fucking breaking down. I'm gonna snap him out of it by socking him a good one.
I know. I'm trying
Okay.
I'm trying to be gentle about it.
Okay.
It's just out of
I
nowhere.
have to say something though. Something about Anar said how what he's looking for is something he can't accept himself,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like to a point where, in a way, it's kind of mitigating for to say this, but Simon kind of felt that way at first, and he just kind of turns with it. He's at that point. I think on an unconscious level, he's punching him like, "Dude, accept it already."
Yeah.
In his
That's
way.
actually a cool way of saying that. That's a good way of looking at it too. Because yeah, that's very true. And then Crimson, it was good to see a lot from you. I know you said you felt off, but it was really good to see you like I'm seeing a little bit more role play out of you, which is always good. I can see you're becoming more and more comfortable with your character. That's phenomenal to see. And then Nar, obviously that whole exchange, I just love role playing with you in general. Like it's just so fucking fun. And I did a little bit of homework and I did a lot of like trying to figure out what Robert would be like. So like I'm glad that you vibed with it because I really wanted to make sure it was special because any interaction with one sire is a pretty special occasion. So I wanted to.
I didn't think you were going to give it to me this fast. I thought you were going to make me work for it more. But I thoroughly enjoyed the way that you role played Robert. Like it worked perfectly in my head. So kudos to you.
Well, I was thinking to myself, like, if he like could, well, yeah, whatever, you get it,
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to kind of tease him a little bit. I wanted to have like the first kind of like, I like subverting some expectations where it's just like, oh, you were expecting that you have to look for him. Oh, well, fuck, he's there. Maybe why is he here? Oh, why am I gouging my eyes out? Like, no, that was done really well. And I just loved that. I think it's hard to tell, but I think you guys talking to the old man was my favorite. But honestly, playing Robert was really fun. Really, really fun. Kind of a little scary fun. Yeah, Big Con. Tony's not here. Fuck that guy.
No shirtless Tony.
No shirt. I was half tempted to show up today shirtless.
Hey, he's singing. He's singing for a good cause right now.
He's
Yeah, he's
singing
singing.
shirtless somewhere.
Yeah, he's singing
Like-
shirtless.
Daddy shirtless.
You know what? So let's all hope good things for him. Not talk too much shit right now.
Always.
Okay. Well, hold up. Let's get into the chat here really quick. So more praise to Rachel for the digital dice. Always awesome to see. She earned it, and she is recovering well from her surgery. Yeah. So I'm sure she appreciates that. Let's see here. Panicked Mouse. First off, welcome back. Second, good job tonight. It's not easy having a long break and coming back. Lastly, thank you for another wonderful session tonight, and hope to see you all next session, of course. Yeah, of course.
Rest in pepperoni.
Rest in pepperoni. The Mandela effect. Yeah. My inner trash goblin. Phrasing. Yeah. There's always a shirtless Tony somewhere in the world. Yeah, indeed. Well, thank you all for showing up and enjoying the session.
Thursday, man.
Shut the fuck up, dude. But on that note, we won't take any more of your time. Have a good evening, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Good night.
Night.